you can even watch back. Giving players all the props or put them on blast. We don't give no hot takes, only talk facts.
We're giving all our devotion, riding high on this wave of emotion. Going all out, yeah, cause this is our time. No, ain't no stopping us till we reach the finish line. All in, we came here to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick. On fire, we're ready to fight. We'll bring the house down tonight. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick.
Playing on the car ride, play it when you lounge. X and O, you know that we can hold it down. Shout out to my man Sammy, got it off the ground. And to all the listeners tuned in right now, got debates, analysis, and speculation. This is sports talk for the new generation. You know where to find us, got a reputation. Sick podcast, your #1 sports destination.
Giving all our devotion, riding high on this wave of emotion. Going all out, yeah, cause this is our time. No, ain't no stopping us till we reach the finish line. All in, we came here to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick. On fire, we're ready to fight. We'll bring the house down tonight. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick.
S-I-C-K is the sickest podcast. Tune in for the audio, or you can even watch back. Giving players all the props or put them on blast. We don't give no hot takes, only talk back. S-I-C-K,
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 S-I-C-K.
all in, we came here to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick.
S-I-C-K, it's the sickest podcast. Tune in for the audio, or you can even watch back. Giving players all the props or put them on blast. We don't give no hot takes, only talk facts.
We're giving all our devotion, riding high on this wave of emotion. Going all out, yeah, cause this is our time. No, ain't no stopping us till we reach the finish line. All in, we came here to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick. On fire, we're ready to fight. We'll bring the house down tonight. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick.
Playing on the car ride, play it when you lounge. X and O, you know that we can hold it down. Shout out to my man Sammy, got it off the ground. And to all the listeners tuned in right now, got debates, analysis, and speculation. This is sports talk for the new generation. You know where to find us, got a reputation. Sick podcast, your #1 sports destination.
Giving all our devotion, riding high on this wave of emotion. Going all out, yeah, cause this is our time. No, ain't no stopping us till we reach the finish line. All in, we came here to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick. On fire, we're ready to fight. We'll bring the house down tonight. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick.
S-I-C-K, it's the sickest podcast. Tune in for the audio, or you can even watch back. Giving players all the props or put them on blast. We don't give no hot takes, only talk back. S-I-C-K,
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 S-I-C-K.
Turn up your volume. Because you're about to listen to The Sick Podcast. The Eye Test with Pierre, McGuire, and Jimmy Murphy.
The Stanley Cup winning Colorado Avalanche. And after 22 years, Raymond Moore
The sickest NHL podcast. It's gonna be sick.
And welcome to another edition of the Eye Test here on the Sick Podcast Network. He is Pierre McGuire. I'm Jimmy Murphy. Pierre, how was your weekend, my friend?
Good. A lot of hockey. It was very good. Feel bad for the New York Rangers. Feel bad for the New Jersey Devils. Feel bad for the Anaheim Ducks. And I feel bad for the Ottawa Senators.
Where do you want to start? Because those are on the list of topics I want to tackle.
You're the quarterback of the show. I'll be the receiver. You just throw it and tell me where you need me to be.
All right. I want you to do an out and then go in like Julian Edelman, all right?
Okay, so that's New England Patriots. You want to start in Boston with the Rangers?
Yeah, but let's start right there. And by the way, big win for the Patriots last night. Congratulations to them.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead. Yeah. What's your take on this? How do you move on from a 10-2 debacle?
Oh, I don't know if they can. I don't know if they can move on from this. They're going to spin it. They've tried to spin the whole season. I know that on this podcast, both of us said the Rangers overrate their players more than anybody else in the league, and they've clearly done that this year as well. And that's not making it personal with anybody. That's been an organizational mantra for a long time. And stars do sell in New York. There's no question. Stars sell in New York. But they got major issues. And the most discouraging part of that game, a little like when the Devils got whacked by the New York Islanders, who pushed back?
Well, Rempe tried, but
I mean, that's okay. Who else?
Nobody else.
And I know that I said this on this show a million times, and I think some people are upset, but I'm sorry. I got to call it the way it is. There were no players in New York last year, not this year. Last year with the old staff, with Phil Halsey and Peter Laviolette and Dan Muse, the old staff, Michael Pekka, the old staff.
Yep.
Players didn't get better there last year.
No.
And one of the guys that went really backwards was Braden Schneider.
Yep.
And if you watch Braden Schneider play now, he is a shell of where he was 2 years ago. Completely
agreed, Pierre. And one of the things you pointed out too, that has been kind of like a broken record is everything they say after the game. It's very well rehearsed, so to speak. It's almost like, they've been told to say it. I don't know that for a fact. I'm just saying how I interpret it. There's no real raw emotion. Like I want to see, I'll give you an example. All right. And going the other way, this is in more of a positive thing, but the coach Ben Johnson for the Chicago Bears is taking a lot of flack right now because he swore in the locker room and was pumped up that they beat their rival. I don't care. Good for him. He should show that emotion. I want to see that. I want to see that come out in an athlete or a coach. I have not seen that yet with the New York Rangers. It's just the same stuff they're saying, regurgitating after every game, Pierre, but no action. Words are meaningless if you don't act on them, and they have not acted on their promises throughout the season.
If I were the owner of the team, I would call Mike Sullivan, and I that I really respect Mike a lot, but I would call Mike and say, wait a second, I'm paying you X amount of dollars to coach my team, and you get asked a question in the post-game press conference, and your answer is, I don't have any answers.
It's
a problem.
It is. And we're not going to call out the names of the broadcaster or broadcasters who were praising Chris Drury on Saturday and kind of shifting blame to the previous regime. But are they for real? Like, I mean, this is all on Chris Drury right now, Pierre. And I've got no beef with Chris Drury. I've never, I've dealt with him professionally, but I don't have any personal beef with him. I'm just telling it as I see it. This is his doing, and he needs to fix it, or they got to get somebody else to come in and do it.
No, I think what needs to happen on the national purveyor of NHL content, they need to have an editorial situation where they actually follow the rules of broadcasting. To say that Chris Drury had nothing to do with the building of this New York Ranger team would be absolutely and totally false.
Completely.
Absolutely and totally false.
And Chris Drury would agree with us. Like it was unreal. You were texting me. You're like, are you listening to this? And I said, yeah, this is unreal. I don't get it. I just don't.
He was very much part of the management team that drafted Lafreniere. He was definitely part of the group that drafted Capo Caco. He was, you go down and look at he was part of this entire organization. Don't tell me that his hands have no dirt on them.
Yeah.
And that, he was a victim of circumstance and that he just happened to be occupying an organizational office, but he had no say in any of this. That's a bunch of malarkey. That's not true. And that's where, you got to control content that you're putting out, because that creates a fake impression of what actually did happen.
Exactly.
If I were Jeff Gorton, I would have been on speed dial to the person that was doing this stuff on the national purveyor of NHL content on a national broadcast.
Mm-hmm.
Whoa, stop.
Yeah. Yeah. And look, I know we all have friends in the business. Pierre,
How's Jeff Gorton doing with his rebuild in Montreal?
Pretty damn good. And look, hey, we're friends with Jeff Gorton. We're big fans of him as a person and as what he does with his job. But if the Canadians were in the Rangers situation right now, we would tell it like it is. That's our job, is to just opinionate and present the truth.
Please don't say that Chris Drury had nothing to do with the players that are wearing Ranger jerseys now. Okay.
It's unreal.
Okay.
Well, listen, I mean, if they lose tonight, Pierre, there's got to be some kind of move coming. There's got to be something that Drury does here. Like, you can't just sit still anymore unless you're just giving up on the season.
I have no idea. I couldn't tell you. Like, I'm not going to pretend.
No,
if I knew, I would tell you. I don't know. I have no idea what they're going to do. I don't. I mean, I know what they did last year, and I know what they did the summer before last year.
Yep.
And I know that they leaked a lot. I know they alienated a lot of their players internally, and I know it was a big problem. And it's no secret around the hockey world.
Yep. Well, good transition there, Pierre, because let's go across the river to New Jersey there, where a player is being alienated right now, and that is Dougie Hamilton. A healthy scratch. It's obvious that they're trying to facilitate a trade. They want him to waive the no movement clause. Pierre, I don't know if you've ever been in a situation in management where it came to a boil where the team had to figure out a way to ask a player to rescind his no movement clause or okay a team that might be on the list there. Look, I'm of the belief, and you might disagree with me, both sides signed that contract and it should be honored. And if you want to make an alteration to it, and I know that they have, there's reports that he, vetoed a trade to San Jose from Elliot Friedman, said that on Saturday, but don't make this public. Don't bench the guy and humiliate him like that. And look, I don't, both of us you said it the day he was signed. Tell our viewers what you said.
I didn't think that they would win the Stanley Cup with that contract to that player. I said that the day that he was signed. I didn't think it was a realistic contract for the organization or for the player. And, I'm of the school where I remember Roberto Luongo saying, my contract sucks. And I don't speak like that. He said it. I didn't say it. He said it. And I'm sure Dougie Hamilton doesn't think his contract's bad. But Roberto was making big money too, but he couldn't be moved. And then they found a way to move him back to Florida, and the rest is history for him. I feel bad for Dougie. Dougie's moved around a lot. I didn't like the contract that he got from New Jersey. And I said it right on national TV the day that it happened. So I'm not going to apologize for it. But do I like Dougie Hamilton as a person? Yeah. Do I think Dougie Hamilton's a good player? I do. But I think everybody's got a price point. And that's not a knock on him. It's just a realistic part of the hockey business. That's all.
What's your take, though? Because this isn't the first time this has happened. And it's not just with the Devils, it's other teams as well, where teams are trying to renege on the no movement or no trade.
Yeah, well, that's the team's fault. I don't blame the player for signing that. If you're going to start handing these things out like candy, it's because you got bullied by the agent. That's on you. That's on you as a management team and an ownership group that actually approves your GM signing those.
Yeah.
It's nonsensical. You know, and I don't want to hear from somebody say, what does he know? How many contracts did he do? Want me to start? I'll start with a lot of them back in the early 1990s before there was a cap, except we had an internal cap, where our owner, if you ever went over $11 million as a total team budget, you were dead in the water. You know, and I can tell you that there were a lot of big contracts in Ottawa. There were a lot of big contracts in a lot of other places too. So, you know, yeah, I do know. And you start handing those things out like candy. I'm talking about NMC, no movement clauses. You're doomed, man.
Yeah.
And if you're doing it to a lot of players, it's because you got bullied by the agents.
Yep.
Stand up.
What's it going to say to other prospective free agents now if they're seeing you try to renege on that? You know, it's not going to help.
I love, you know, we talked about Jeff Gorton before. Kent Hughes and Jeff Gorton, they get the business. They got Lane Hudson for less money. They got Mike Matheson for less money. How'd that happen?
In a city
one of the most draconian tax places in the National Hockey League play. Cost of living, taxation, everything. And he got two guys that are really important players in that team to take less money than what they would get on the market.
And one of them's a Norris Trophy candidate right now.
Yeah, well, the other guy is way undervalued, Matheson. So, yeah, Kent knows how the business is run because he was an agent. He's played both sides of the fence. And Jeff understands how it is because he had to work for a small budget team in Arizona. He worked for a big budget team in New York, worked for a big budget team in Boston. You know, even though Boston didn't spend a lot, but he's still a big budget team.
Right. So,
anyways, there's a lot of stuff going on in this league right now.
I know. We were saying that the other day. You look around, there's just a lot of dysfunction going on. And let's go right to the city, you know, where you do a great show with our friend there on Sick Podcast Network with I forget the name of it. I apologize. The Sens show.
Who, with Alex Adams?
Yeah, with Alex Adams.
Yeah.
Your Senators podcast.
And Spotlight, yes.
Thank you. And by the way, good job by him getting Brady Tkachuk to open up on what I'm about to bring up. And that, of course, is the vicious internet rumors that were going around regarding Linus Ullmark. Now, look, first of all, it's disgusting that happened. But we immediately said when the team released a statement and also regarding the tone of it, that it was a mistake. And now it's blowing up in their face, Pierre. You've been in situations as management. How should they handle something like this as opposed to the way they did it?
Keep it internal.
Yep.
The more light you put on it, the more exposure it gets. The more exposure it gets, the more people ask questions. The more people ask questions, the more trouble you can get in. Keep it internal. Wasn't handled well. And they can, you know, I get the players are saying what they're saying. And I think the world of Timmy Stützle. I think the world of Brady Tkachuk. I think the world of both those guys.
Yep.
So I understand they're going to be loyal foot soldiers to the organization. I respect them for what they said. So I have no quibble with them. And the next person that tells me, well, Steve Staios put out a written statement. No, he didn't. Steve Staios' name was on that. Steve Staios didn't write that.
Yeah.
He doesn't speak that way. He doesn't write that way.
No. Exactly. And, you know, now you've got the PR department of the Senators taking shots at the media. It's just
some of the people that work there, one in particular, somebody's going to go deep and look at some of his work of art when he was covering the team and see just what a fair guy he was when he was covering the team. Now all of a sudden the roles have switched.
They should have just taken the highway. I get it. I know inside you're burning up and you're mad that this stuff is flying around the internet, but at the same time, you nailed it, Pierre. You're giving light to it by doing that. Just move on.
Move on from it. The team's not playing particularly well.
No, and this is making it worse.
I understand they've got goalie issues. I get it. I totally get it. But this is a better team than what their record is right now. Their penalty killing is atrocious. They haven't really tried to fix it. Needs to be fixed. Power play can be a lot more consistent. They've got more than enough firepower to compete. It's good that they got Lars Eller back because he'll help stabilize some things. Getting Pinto back obviously helps a lot. They got big problems. We've talked about this on the show ad nauseum. They got big problems on the right side of their defense.
Yep.
It's just not deep enough. They're just not deep enough on the right side. So they got issues.
Yep.
But I also think that that's an important franchise for a lot of reasons. Those fans are really intelligent, passionate hockey fans. That market is way undervalued. I'm telling you, it's a great market. They got to get something they can believe in as a fan base. They do. But that market's, I'm telling you, Jimmy, like I lived there two different times in my career.
Mhm.
I lived there in the mid 1990s and I lived there 3 years ago. And I can just tell you that I never had a bad day living there. I loved living there. Those people love hockey.
I agree. I always love going there to
I
cover
think
games.
it's a fantastic market. I'm just telling you, I think it's a fantastic market.
And here's the thing, and we don't script this. That was going to be my next question. You were talking about they need this team to be good. This is a team, Pierre, that has been on an upward trajectory here and gaining momentum season by season over the last few years. And then all of a sudden they're hitting these minefields, and they're just it feels like right now it might spiral back the other way. They got to reel it in. They really do. They have to reel it in and just get back to how they got on that upward path.
I think they learned a little bit from this. Everybody, that's what I want to basically quantify, is that I've made more mistakes than probably anybody. So I understand. That's why I don't get angry with that. And when people, but you can help correct them as an organization.
Exactly.
And so I think they learned something from this.
Yeah.
I do. I think they learned something from this, which is a good thing, not a bad thing. So trying to put a positive spin on it.
Yeah.
But I also think that, you know, the market matters, and the brand loyalty matters there, because they're in a tough spot. The reason why they're in a tough spot is Montreal's been winning forever. Okay. So you got a lot of fans. Before there was an NHL team in Ottawa, Montreal Canadiens existed. Before there was an NHL team in Ottawa, the Toronto Maple Leafs existed. So they're stuck in this corridor between two original six teams that have a plethora of unbelievable history. Some, Montreal anyways, better than Toronto's long-term, but nonetheless, still two historical franchises. And so to get the brand loyalty, there has to be consistency in the message.
Yeah.
And I don't think they've had that.
They were getting there, though, because Pierre, think back to that playoff series last year against Toronto. I know they lost the series, but I remember talking to you saying, this is the first time I feel like the home fans are outnumbering the visiting fans when Toronto is in. It happens when Montreal's here. It happens when Toronto's here. And you could feel it was a Sens fans presence over the Leafs.
Excellent point.
We hadn't seen that in so long. So they got to get back to that and keep that going. All right, Pierre, on more positive stuff. Let's go over to Detroit here. Sergei Fedorov is going to watch his number 91 go to the rafters. I know there's tons of stuff going on right now. By the way, we were trying to get Chris Draper. He did get back to me. Pierre said he apologized, but
he's busy. He's
in the midst of all that right now.
He's got a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah. But they're reliving so many memories there of Fedorov there. And, you know, I don't know, Pierre, if our younger listeners and viewers understand what it took for the Red Wings to get Sergei Fedorov and the rest of the Russian Five over. You were in the league then. You remember much more clear than me. You know much more about it. Just talk about that and like what that was like and hearing those stories when it was going on.
I heard it from the guy that actually was involved right from the start, Nick Polano. I used to spend a lot of time with the late Nick Polano on the road, and Nick was the former Red Wing coach. He's a legendary figure in the American Hockey League, both in Erie and in Providence. He played for the Providence Reds at the time. Nick Polano is a legendary figure. A lot of the younger kids wouldn't know him. He's passed on, but Nick was a guy that engineered getting Sergei Fedorov out of the hotel in Portland, Oregon, and getting him in a car with Jimmy Lights, who was married into the Ilitch family. And they found a way to do it. But I remember Nick telling me a million times, I'd be with Nick in different parts of the world, and I'd be going into Russia, or I'd be going into Slovakia. Back then it was Czechoslovakia, or going into the Czech Republic. But back again, it was Czechoslovakia back then. And I'd say to Nick, are you coming? You know? And he go, no, I can't go there. I go, why not? He goes, because if I go there, they've told me I'll be killed because of the Fedorov thing. So they had sent a warning to the Red Wings that if Nicky went back, he was going to get taken out. Fedorov was really good. I was coaching in a league where some creative person in Detroit said, can you win with Yzerman, or are you better off with Fedorov? It was because they were double trouble down the middle. I mean, and then they added Draper to the mix, the third center, and it became a really difficult team to play against. But that was one of the lines I remember hearing when you're going to Detroit. Can you win with Yzerman, or are you better off with Fedorov? Because they were both looking for contracts and things.
Yep.
And there was only so much you could spend at that time. But if you think about it, you go to the Cup final in 95 or 96.
It was 95.
95, they lose to Jersey.
Swept.
You go in 97, 98, you win in 97, you win in 98, you go in 02. And the only reason why you didn't go to more is people forget you had Colorado and Dallas and Detroit. They were all in the same division.
Oh, those were wars.
That was savage. And I just remember being around those games. I'm like, whoa, that's crazy stuff. And then obviously you win in 02, Scotty's last year. So Sergei wins 3 Stanley Cups, goes to 4 final. It's pretty impressive. But what people forget is he went from Detroit to Anaheim, Anaheim to Columbus, Columbus to Washington. And I remember doing games in Washington in particular. There were these 2 young guys playing for the Capitals at the time. And Sergei was their mentor. One was Ovechkin, and the other guy was Nicky Backstrom.
Jeez.
And so Fedorov would play on the wing, Backstrom would play at center, and Ovechkin would play on the other wing. And Fedorov was a left-hand shot. Ovechkin was a right-hand shot. Nicky was a lefty. It's just, it was amazing.
Yeah.
And so I have so much respect for his ability as a player. I remember Scotty calling me once really late at night, and I'm pretty sure Scotty's watching this right now. And I remember him saying, Pierre, I got an idea. I'm like, what's that?
I remember you telling me this.
I'm gonna play Sergei Fedorov on defense, and I'm probably gonna be able to play him 40 minutes. So I'm gonna play him a shift on defense. I'm gonna move him up front. I'm gonna put him back on D. So I'm probably looking at a 40-minute game for him. He said, I did it with Doug Harvey, but Doug just played defense. But Doug could play almost 40 minutes a game in St. Louis at the end of his career. So I think I could do it with Sergei too. And he was dead serious about doing it.
He did it.
But I mean, like serious, like for the whole year. And I was like, I don't know if that, but I never ever would argue with Scotty on it. And he clearly did it. And then another time, Sergei was dating Anna Kournikova. And they were playing the playoffs. Detroit was playing the playoffs. And Scotty told Sergei, because Scotty knew like it was an important thing for him. They needed Fedorov to play well. He said, we don't need you to practice for 2 or 3 days because they were out there on the West Coast. And I think she was playing at Indian Wells, which is one of the early tournaments of this summer season. And so Scotty let Sergei go.
Wow.
And he came back and just tore it up.
Wow.
You'd have to look the numbers up, but I mean, that was a few years ago. But it just shows you the creativity of Scotty, but also how Fedorov responded when he was treated the right way. And man, he was good. He was a good player.
Pierre, I mean, I keep hearing everybody's been talking about it nonstop. They said it when they announced they were going to retire the number, and now in the last few days leading into this, that it took so long because of the offer sheet with Carolina. Is that basically what happened there? Did it sour the relationship?
Oh yeah, I would say yes.
Yeah,
I don't know that for sure, but knowing all the parties involved, I'd say yeah.
Yeah.
And you got to remember now, who owned Detroit? Obviously the Illiches, and their brand is Little Caesars. And who owned Carolina? Mr. Carmanos, and their brand was CompuWare. Well, anybody that at that time knew CompuWare and Little Caesars, it's like even at the youth hockey level.
Yep.
So it was like, bad blood right from the start. And then obviously Carolina thinking we'll pull a fast one because of money issues.
Yeah.
They make the offer. Well, Detroit, they're going to match. So,
1998, that was.
There was no cap then, Jimmy.
No cap then.
That's what I'm saying. So,
it was him and Sakic got it one too, right? From the Rangers?
Sakic was with the Rangers. And the reason why the Rangers made that predatory offer is because they didn't think, they thought Colorado was going to be out of money. They weren't going to have the money to match because it was front loaded with a signing bonus, massive. I mean, a $15 million signing bonus. Wow. And so I'm pretty sure it was a movie that came out, Air Force One, that saved Joe Sakic to sign with Colorado. Pretty sure that's how it worked out.
Pretty amazing. Pretty amazing. Great stuff there. All right. Before we get to our sponsors and my picks and then your Q&A, just want to give a shout out to our friend Eric Open. Want to remind everybody the CT Ice tournament is coming up. It's Friday, January 23rd and Saturday, January 24th. And those are all 4 Connecticut schools, Yale, UConn, Sacred Heart, and Quinnipiac will be playing. You remember last year I broadcasted from it. So you can go to their X handle. It is at CT Hockey FDN. Again, that's at CT Hockey FDN. They've got a great auction going with tons of great prizes. So go check it out there. And if you're in the area in Connecticut, I highly urge you to go. It was a fun time. I enjoyed it last year. All right, let's get to our wonderful sponsors and another place I enjoy, and that is Vago Italian, where you can go and they combine old world classics and new Italian dishes for over 23 years. Private dining rooms for any occasion. They are open Monday to Saturday evenings and lunch from Tuesday to Friday. They are located at 1336 Green Avenue in the Westmount neighborhood of Montreal. For reservations, call 514-846-1414. Again, that's 514-846-1414. And of course, excuse me, our wonderful sponsors over at Betway, where you can still go all the way with Betway and bet those beauties. Go to that QR code to get your membership right now. Or if you're not watching, go to the website, click on the member section, fill out your details there because they're still offering that great deal. And that is up to $300 back on your first deposit, even if you lose your first bet, which unfortunately, if you've been listening to me over the last week, I've hit a little bit of a speed bump. So I apologize, but I hope you got that deposit, you got that reward, and you're still in business there. So go there right now. You must be 18 plus. Terms and conditions apply. Always bet responsibly. And remember, the deal is not available in Ontario right now. Let's go to my picks. We'll start up in Montreal, where the Canadians, hey, as I was asking Pierre, I didn't get to watch much of the game. I said, what happened with them against Detroit? And Pierre basically simply said, they got outplayed. It wasn't that they stunk. Detroit's playing some really great hockey right now. But I like the Canadians to bounce back against the Vancouver Canucks tonight up in Montreal. Give me the Habs on the puck line, -1.5 at +130 value. And then I'm going to head out to Minnesota, where the Quinn Hughes Minnesota Wild are playing New Jersey Devils, who tried very hard to get them. And it's pretty much been all downhill for the Devils since they failed to do that. The Devils and Wild in Minnesota, give me the over 5.5. That's at -130 value. And then take me out to Denver, where the Colorado Avalanche host the Toronto Maple Leafs. And this is a Maple Leafs team we were really high on the beginning of the year, through injuries, through underachieving, through whatever. They weren't really playing up to their potential. They're getting there now. They are on the rise. I love the form in the Toronto Maple Leafs right now. I like them to go into Colorado, Pierre, and pull off the upset tonight at +200 value, +$200 underdogs. Give me the Maple Leafs.
They're 7-1-2 in their last 10. They've won 3 in a row. They're coming off a 5-0 shutout. They got their lines pretty set up. And McMahon, Lawton, and Lorentz. Mm-hmm. That's a really good line for them. And everybody says, oh, it's their fourth line. No, it's not. It's their identity line now. Yep. And the biggest thing is Austin is back playing the way Austin is capable of. And I think getting Nylander back, you saw it the other day with 3 points against Vancouver. But to me, the biggest thing is this Easton Cowan's bringing youthful enthusiasm, and the guys are buying in. And now the coach trusts him, so he's playing him more.
Yep.
And then the final one is your favorite guy, Brandon Carlo, back in the lineup. Makes a big difference. Makes a big difference on the right side. So Toronto, I agree with you on Toronto. By the way, I don't know if they're going to win or lose tonight, but they're definitely pushing back now.
I don't think it's going to be a blowout. Like I see some people online saying, "Oh, Colorado will take care of that." No, this is going to be a good game either way. So.
I think Toronto's going to surprise people. They play tonight in Colorado and then tomorrow in Utah. Mm-hmm. And I can tell you that's the last back-to-back they have the rest of the month of January.
Yep.
That's it. Everything else, there's days in between. And that for a team like Toronto, that's huge.
That's huge.
That's huge. So if they ever stole points tonight or a point tonight, look out.
All right.
I'm going to say.
Well, let's get to our Q&A. Where do we go? Let's start off. What do we got? Simo, Pierre, do you think John Cooper should be a top pick for Jack Adams? A lot of injuries, and he has them playing great. Crazy he hasn't won one in his career. Also, could you see a Blake Coleman reunion in Tampa Bay?
I'd love to see Coleman go somewhere because he's just too good a player and he's a great kid and he's a winner. He really is. in terms of John for the Adams, I think he should definitely be in the discussion. Jimmy and I talked about that the other day.
Yeah.
I think he's got company, though. I think there are a lot of other coaches. Johnny Hines in Minnesota, what he's done with that lineup with all the injuries is absolutely unbelievable. It truly is amazing to see what he's done. And I think there are other coaches around. I'm just, I don't want to put one over the other, but, Brindamore never gets a lot of love. Brindamore's done an amazing job with Carolina. Yeah. Patrick Roy, what he's done with the Islanders, like Patty's done an amazing job. Talking with Philly. I mean, there are a lot of good coaching stories. Yeah,
Marty St. Louis.
So Coop definitely is going to be one of the finalists. I'd be willing to bet on that.
I feel like Pierre with that before we move on with that award too sometimes, and I feel bad for some of these coaches. I feel like there's coaches out there who are consistently good. You mentioned Brindamore. I think he's a perfect example where it's just sort of understood. They like, okay, great. He was awesome again. And because of that, they almost get overlooked because I think when we look at the Jack Adams, we almost look at like coaches who are overachieving, not doing what they should. If you know what I mean. So, all right, next question. Gabriel Lamb. Jimmy, your opinion on what happened at Hershey. I know Pierre and Tony discussed this, but I don't care if it's staged or not. I think it's a very bad look. Hockey is a fun sport without the fighting. Pierre, I did not see your opinion, but I'll say mine. And then if you want to give yours again, I didn't like it at all. And I don't like how it's getting celebrated, that we're celebrating little kids fighting on the ice and using their sticks and as weapons. I mean, it's not a good reflection on where we are as a culture if we're celebrating that.
I respect the Hershey market so much. That is a legendary American Hockey League program. It's a phenomenally successful franchise. The brand is very similar to the Montreal Canadiens brand. Theirs is in the American League, obviously Montreal in the NHL. I didn't like what I saw. I said it at the time to Tony. I don't have any appetite for that. I love tough physical hockey, but I didn't like that. I don't want to ever see that again.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. All right, next question. Ethan Russell, what's up, Ethan? Pierre, do you think Zach Metza is playing himself into being with Buffalo for the rest of the year? I loved watching him on that 23 national championship team with Quinnipiac.
Sam Malinsky in Colorado and Zach Metza in Buffalo now remind me so much of one another. One guy was at Quinnipiac, one guy was at Malinsky was at Cornell. And the reason why Colorado saw Malinsky so much is because they had a kid named Steinberg playing on their team who was a third-round pick of Colorado. So they kept going to watch Steinberg play.
I remember you telling me about this. Yeah.
And so they eventually signed Malinsky as an undrafted player out of Lakeville, Minnesota, who played at Cornell. And then I'm watching Metza, who's an undrafted player who played for Rand Pecknold at Quinnipiac. And I watched him in the American Hockey League too, and he's a thick-bodied guy. He's done very well. I like Ethan's question a lot. I hope he's playing his way into a position in Buffalo because he's a really good player. He's an elite puck mover, very, very good puck mover.
Pierre, breaking news right now. Sorry to interrupt our Q&A. The Columbus Blue Jackets announcing just 2 minutes ago they have relieved head coach Dean Evanson and assistant coach Steve McCarthy of their duties and hired veteran NHL coach Rick Bowness as the new head coach in Columbus. Wow. I didn't see that coming. Interesting. And it was interesting, Pierre, as you were talking, I was getting a text from somebody saying there's a big coaching change coming. I'll call you right after the show. And then he just says, oh, bleep, it's already out there. Wow. That's too bad for Dean.
Yeah, it is really too bad for Dean.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, I'm a little taken aback by that because it didn't end very well for Rick in Dallas, and it didn't end very well for Rick in Winnipeg. And yeah, I'm surprised if you're going to go out there and make a change, unless DeBoer didn't want the job, or unless they got bonus on short term and low money. Like, no disrespect meant to Rick, but Pete DeBoer all day long.
I'm with you on that. Interesting.
It's really interesting. I hope Rick does well. I feel terrible for Dean Evason. I really do. I feel terrible for Dean.
I just don't see it being him as the problem there in Columbus. Interesting. All right. I'll have to digest that, and we'll talk more about it tomorrow. All right. Next question. Peter Minot, thoughts on Shane Wright's progression?
It's been pedestrian.
I think that's a perfect word. Yep. All right. Next question. Fufa Fofum. It looks like Montreal is happy for now and in the near future, Kapanen and Hage. How do you think Dmitry Voronkov or Lawson Krause as left wingers on Montreal's second line would look?
They would both look good, but I don't see that happening. I mean, Lawson Krause is an alternate captain in Utah, and they think they got a chance to make the playoffs. So I'd be surprised. And Voronkov just got a new head coach.
Yep.
So I don't know.
And they're pretty high on him there. I know that. Yeah. Speaking of Lawson Krause, too, he's been one of their best players over the last couple of weeks.
He's played well. I mean, he's played well. Clayton Keller's still their best player. They miss Logan Cooley a lot. Sergachev's done really well there, though. I got to give I watched a lot of their games. Sergachev's been much more consistent than what I thought. Schmaltz is the underrated guy there. Schmaltz makes a lot of good plays there. He's done a good job there.
Pending UFA. All right, next question. Pierre and Jimmy, do you believe these Coleman rumors to the Habs?
I hope so, because I want Montreal to do well. It'd be great.
Well, it'd be a great addition. I don't know anything about it, but that would be a great addition. All right, next question. Luke Bailey. Good afternoon, gentlemen. With the Jets likely selling and Logan Stanley's solid development, what could he fetch in a trade?
Probably draft picks and a prospect, but it's not going to be like a multiple gigantic thing. And by the draft pick, I'm probably thinking a second or third round pick and maybe a B prospect. But he has improved. No, I agree with the questioner. He's improved significantly. Logan has. It's not just a physicality because he's so big. His decision-making's really improved as well. He deserves a lot of credit. He's really made himself into an everyday NHL player.
All right, next question. Rodney Redcliffe. Hey, guys, what do you think going back to the old playoffs format is way better than what the playoffs out? Rodney, you're preaching to the choir here for both of us.
We're on the same page, Rodney. Bring it on.
Yep. I don't know when it's going to happen. All right, next question. David Robinson. What's up, Dave? Should the Rangers move Brendan Othmann to give him a fresh start? Oddly, he's a Bruins-style forward and would be a good fit, I think.
Yeah, I don't think the Bruins Rangers are making a deal anytime soon, but we'll see. Yeah, Othmann, I don't like what's gone on with Othmann there.
Yeah.
But Jimmy knows. I kind of have to divorce myself from this. I don't like to play politics on this. I'll just say that I'm friends with people that are familiar with this situation. I don't think that it's been handled well in New York. That's all I'll say.
All right, next question. Michael Maloney. Pierre, please explain to me how Macklin Celebrini won't win the Hart Trophy this year. He has more points than the next two highest scorers on the Sharks combined. Is he MVP or not close?
No, he's definitely close, Michael. I love what you're saying. We agree.
Yeah.
But if this guy McKinnon keeps running away with things, and let's just say San Jose doesn't make the playoffs, I think it'd be hard. I'll give you I just want to just say this, Jimmy, because this is one of my things I do on Monday mornings. So the goal differential going into tonight's action in the National Hockey League, Colorado is plus 80. Just hear me out for a second. Colorado is plus 80. The next highest goal differential in the league is Tampa at plus 39. Utah, who's in the same division as Colorado, they're plus 9. Vegas, who's one of the better teams in the league, a lot of people think they're plus 8. Colorado's plus 80. Like, McKinnon is a machine. And this is not a knock on – look, if Celebrini, I'm so glad he's on the Olympic team. If you're a fan of Canadian hockey, you're thrilled this guy's on the Olympic team. I can't say he's going to guarantee you winning the Hart Trophy. I can't get – but should he be in the discussion? 100% he should be.
I have him in my top 3.
What about, like – okay, I know people don't think it's sexy to talk about Tampa. Kucherov's been unbelievable. Like, Kucherov's been amazing. I don't know why there's not more talk about Kucherov down in Tampa.
Yeah, or league-wide. Like, it's insane what he does, and on a consistent basis, too.
Yeah, so, I mean, there's a lot of guys, but Macklin is blowing it. He definitely is, quote-unquote, generational. So I don't want to hear anybody say he's not generational. He's generational.
And I see David Robinson again asking me over there, did Liverpool pull off the win? Yes, they just won 4-1. Dave, big win there. I'll take it. All right, next question.
You gotta stop.
This afternoon soccer, it's distracting. All right, Ethan Russell, thoughts on Hamilton for Kotkaniemi? I understand it's risky from both sides and moving two bad contracts. With Carolina's cap space and a lack of depth on the right side, do you think that'd be a good ad?
They had Hamilton.
They did, and
I don't see Jersey taking Kotkaniemi.
No, I don't see Carolina's
I know ownership was involved in Carolina on that contract when they poached him out of Montreal. Anybody write anything about that?
Mm-hmm.
Did the analytics work on that one? I want to know.
No.
How'd the analytics work out on that one?
They can't get anybody to take him right now.
I want to hear I want to know why the analytics didn't work out on that one. Yeah. That's all I kept hearing.
Yeah. All right. Next question. John Flagel. What's up, John? Hey, gentlemen, keep it going. Thank you. Pierre, what do the Habs do with Galley? It seems like he takes a shift and is gassed after 30 seconds and can't keep pace with play anymore.
I think they need to really do work the rest ratio and give him an opportunity to recover between games. One of the best things that's going to happen for him is going to be obviously the Olympics, but I think they need to start looking at ways to rest him. And so we'll see how that works out, but I'm sure Marty's aware of that too. If we're seeing it, the coaching staff who watches a plethora of tape every day, they're seeing the same thing.
And their strength and conditioning and all those guys.
Yeah.
Next question. Luke Bailey, what's up, Luke? Would you guys be surprised if Struble gets traded this year? I wouldn't.
No, I would not.
No.
He's Jack Guy. At the beginning of the year, Struble was ahead of Jack Guy.
I'd agree.
After about 15 games, Jack Guy jumped Struble, and now Struble is way down the list for Montreal.
Yep. All right. Next question. Gerbs 76 PK. What are the expectations for Dobich after not playing for a while? Is too much rest a bad thing, especially for a goalie trying to earn his spot back?
Depends how much they've done with him in practice. It's hard to mimic what goes on in a game in practice, especially at this time of the year, because it's a tiring time of the season for all these players. But if they did a lot of real aggressive work with him, he'll be okay. But I would say that, we're down to probably the short strokes here in terms of what Montreal is going to do with their goaltending situation. You can't keep having three guys up. You just can't. It doesn't work.
All right. Next question. Chris L. 1993. Question for Pierre and Jimmy. Kirby Dach and Jack Hughes are 36% lifetime in the faceoff. Are they centers?
Yeah, they're centers. Just because a guy doesn't win a lot of faceoffs doesn't mean he's not a good centerman. Like Kirby Dach needs some room to move and work. Hughes is the same. Jack Hughes is the same. Watch him in open ice. He's phenomenal to watch. There are a lot of guys that aren't great at draws. I remember when Crosby was a rookie in the league, he was terrible at draws. And then all of a sudden he started working on it. He talked to Mary, he talked to Ronnie Francis, he talked to Brian Trottier, and all of a sudden he got it on track. Now he's one of the better face-off guys in the league. Face-offs are an art. They really are. And it's something that's a learned art. You can be naturally good at it a bit because you got fast hands and strong wrists and all that, but you can work at it to become better. There's a lot of strategy and technique that goes into taking face-offs.
All right, next question. Hendricks that can play, lots of trade rumors. How does it affect the players, their families, and even coaches? What are stories of trades that went through and how they affected you as a player or coach or the team?
Yeah, that's such a great question. That's an awesome one because there is a human element that people forget. That's why Jimmy knows I don't like to talk about players that are being speculated about in terms of trade. I just don't like it. I don't think it's fair to the player or to his family, especially the ones that do have, younger children or a brand new wife. It's just, you hate to talk about that, but it's a realistic part of the business too. I remember one player in particular, one team was threatening, it was before an expansion draft, that if we didn't protect the player, they were going to take him, but that they wanted to make a trade for him first to try to give us an asset because they wanted the player. And we were like, no. And eventually the player did leave. But I would just say that it's never easy to deal with that. And that's why Jimmy knows I can't stand the leaking stuff that goes on now. Mm-hmm. And it bothers me a lot. And we, as an organization, everyone that I ever worked for tried not to do that. I know the people I worked for never leaked. They never leaked. They just didn't.
All right. Next question. Franco, is there a comparable for Ivan Demidov's next contract?
That's a good question too. it's a few years ago, but I would say you'd look at Stützle's. I know they play different positions, but I think Stützle would be one from Ottawa. That I think, look at where Timmy was coming out of entry level. And, there are going to be other ones that are going to be close to that. I don't think Celebrini's would be a comparable. I just don't. I think Macklin's a different kind of player. Maybe Connor Bedard. Maybe Bedard is a comparable for the player. They're pretty similar. I think Bedard's more of a winger than a centerman. So there'll be some that'll be comparable.
All right. Next question. Brandon, question. Do you see the NHL ever taking out the shootout completely and making 3-on-3 10 minutes or some kind of continuous OT?
I would love to see the second part and make 3-on-3 until you decide a winner. Get rid of the shootout. I don't know if the league's got an appetite to get rid of the shootout right now. I just don't know if they do.
All right, next question. Jarrett Russell, when all is said and done, where do you think the Habs will end up in the Atlantic?
I think third.
Okay. Who's second?
Tampa and Detroit, I think, will be ahead.
Okay. Next question. CB-ZC2XI. Let's talk about the masterclass by Washington's pro scouting staff. Dubois, Chikrin, Dowd, Thompson, Strome, Sordiff. He's been a great find. People rip them for Sordiff and Dubois. Don't run with the herd.
There you go. Whoever CB is, I'm on his team. Don't run with the herd. Sordiff has been a good player in the American Hockey League for a long time, and I'm glad to see him get an opportunity. Really am happy to see him get an opportunity. So that's good. Pierre-Luc Dubois is hurt, but I'm happy to see, that he's getting a home there in Washington.
Yep.
There's a lot to like, but I like what Washington's done. Chikrin, here's the difference of the Chikrin deal. Like, that was Jensen for Chikrin. But when Ottawa got Chikrin, they had to pay big price to get him. I'm not sure that was a good deal for Ottawa.
No.
So I'd be careful about that masterclass stuff. But yeah, no, they've done a nice job with their pros. They definitely have. They deserve a lot of credit there for that.
All right, next question. Luke Bailey, what do you think Cole Perfetti's ceiling is? 70 points?
Yeah, I think we talked about that before, right? 65 to 70. I thought that's what we talked about with Cole. He's just got to be healthy.
He's a guy, Pierre, I think needs a fresh start. Just my opinion. All right.
Go to Columbus. He played for Rick Bowness in Winnipeg.
Just next question. Randy Workman, what's up, Randy? Pierre, are you worried with the loss by the Pens to the Games on the weekend?
Well, back-to-back losses, a tough one with Calgary. And I know the people in Pittsburgh was raving about the way Calgary played that day. And then a 1-0 loss yesterday to Boston in Boston. So 2 really tight games. Yeah. I don't really worry too much about the Pens. I mean, I think what they're doing now is they're playing with house money. They're a lot better than what a lot of people thought through the first 40 to 45 games of the season. I think they're going to be tough out the rest of the way as long as they keep guys healthy. But those are tight 2-1 and 1-0. Those are really tight games, obviously.
What's interesting too is their games are more low scoring. When you always think of the Penguins, you're thinking high scoring.
So the coach has to be involved with that. So that's good though. I'm happy for Dan Muse and his staff. I really am. I'm happy for those guys.
They're playing better two-way hockey. All right, next question. Pierre from Elijah. What's up, Elijah? I play center and wing, and I try to model my game after Macklin Celebrini and Oliver Moore. What should I be watching and looking for to put into my game? I hope you guys are doing well. Thanks, Elijah.
Well, Macklin's skating and his ability to make plays off the rush with his feet moving, and Oliver Moore's got maybe one of the most underrated shots going. Kid that played at the University of Minnesota, played in the World Junior, started the season in Rockford in the American Hockey League. I watched him play in the showcase in Minnesota this summer when St. Louis, Chicago, and Minnesota got together. They won one game and they lost another. They lost to Minnesota. They beat St. Louis. But he's a vastly underrated shooter. His shot is way under the radar. And if you don't know the player and you're a goalie in the league and all of a sudden he's coming down the wing and he snaps on you, like, holy moly, I had no idea the kid could squeeze it like that. So he's a very, very good player. He's an everyday NHL player.
All right. Next question. What do we got? Rodney again. What do you guys think about what Montreal prospect Pitchford is doing in the WHL as a defenseman? Pretty amazing.
Yeah, no, I don't overhype guys. Obviously, his numbers are unbelievably gaudy, and we'll see if it translates to the next level or not, but it's pretty exciting if you're the Canadiens.
All right, next question. Ethan again. Do you think some of Seattle's successes of late is how good Grubauer has been? Yeah, he's been great.
He's been really good. I'm glad you brought that up, Ethan. And because of that, some of their other guys are starting to make plays up front, and it's giving them some confidence. But yeah, no, he's definitely, Jimmy's right. Big game for them tonight in New York against the Rangers. Because if the Rangers, to Jimmy's point at the beginning of this show, if the Rangers don't bring an A game tonight, then I don't know what happens there. Seriously, starting tomorrow, I have no idea.
By the way, too, I forgot to mention my picks. I go to Capo Caco and see what he is to score a goal tonight. It would be so Rangers to have Capo Caco going to
that's painful to think about. That's harsh.
All right, next question. David Robinson. Any other weird moments where a goal, Zakas versus the Rangers, gets called no goal, but then it's reviewed and the teams have to come back to the ice? Yeah, that was interesting. Why not tack the 33 seconds on to the next period?
Well, I've seen the time added on to another period before when a piece of glass was broken or there was a problem with the net or there's a problem with the ice. I've seen that many times. Yeah. That was a little bit different. That was a little bit different. I was texting with Jimmy during the game and I was like, are these guys going to start talking about the Rangers? And like, when is there going to be pushback? Is there ever going to be any kind of pushback? Like, I know Carrick got involved, and I really respect him. I think Sam Carrick is a really good kid, and he's an industrious player, and he really cares, and he's proud to be in the NHL every day. And I'm not taking anything from him because he got whacked pretty good in his fight. He got whacked pretty good, but he got right back up. But outside of that, I mean, I don't know.
But it got to the point, too, where Marco Sturm was even resting his big guys.
How about in the last power play? I think was I talking to you on the phone then?
You're like, the fourth line.
I'm like, good for Marco. Like,
it was classy. It was classy.
There's one coach who will remain nameless who one time did that, and I was a head coach then, not an assistant, put his number one power play on. I think they were up 6-2 or something. We had a really nice discussion in the hallway after the game.
Mm-hmm. I could see
it was really good.
All right, next question. What do we got? Gabriel, if Columbus can fire their coach, why don't the Rangers fire Chris Drury? He's done a horrible job. I think we've said enough on that, but very valid question, Gabe.
I don't like anybody getting fired. I don't like, but I know it's a realistic part of the game. I get it. I totally understand it. Mm-hmm. You know, Dino's a good coach. He's an emotional coach. He's a good coach. He did a lot of good stuff in Minnesota. Ask your friend Billy Guerin, Jimmy. Mm-hmm. Jimmy will tell you Billy Guerin has raved about Dean Evason.
He said right on our show it was one of the hardest decisions he ever had to make.
Yeah, so I'm just telling you, Dean's a good coach. I don't know. Donnie probably is feeling some pressure too. Nobody expected Columbus to be at the bottom of the pool right now, but they are. So now they got to swim. So maybe they think Rick Bowness will come in and make them swim harder. I have no idea.
All right, next question. Franco, with the new playoff salary cap being what it is, where each roster must be cap compliant at puck drop, does that make it harder for veterans such as Gallagher to make the playoff roster?
I don't think so, no. I don't think
so. Next question. CB-ZC2XI. Who are the best tactical bench management in the NHL, in your humble opinion, and why? Bonus, what are your keys to running a successful power play as a coach? Thanks, guys. Love the show. Thank you.
Are we talking about all time or just now?
I don't know. I guess we'll just stick with now. Let's just stick with now.
Well, one of the best bench managers is Maurice in Florida, and tactically too, because he surrounded himself with Lefebvre, who's really good with penalty kill. Jamie Compound's a winner. He understands how to do all kinds of things, communicate with players, make them better. I'm just trying to think around the league. I think Quenneville's staff is good tactically. I mean, Joel's as good a coach as there is. Just that's the reality of the whole thing. I think under the radar, Ryan Warsofsky and his staff, we just had Ryan on last week.
Yeah, that was great.
They've done some really good stuff there. I'm really impressed by what they've been able to do. Ryan Husker, without a doubt, he and his staff tactically have squeezed more lemon out of that team than I could ever imagine they would have been able to do. I can tell you right now, Johnny Hines is a really good, really, really good tactical guy. And McClellan in Detroit is superior. You know, I've talked to him a lot about stuff over the years. So those are just some. You don't get to the NHL and you're bad. Probably the best guy when it comes to manipulating a roster and really understanding asset management would be John Cooper in Tampa. I think Cooper's phenomenal at that. I don't think he's the best tactician. I just think he knows how to manipulate his roster really well.
All right, next question. Gerbs, 76 PK. I believe the KHL tested this for 3-on-3 OT. Could there be a rule to not allow teams to bring the puck back past their own blue line to increase the offense?
They've talked about that a lot in the NHL. Yeah. We'll see how that goes. Usually they use the American Hockey League as a test, or they use the Ontario Hockey League as a test. We'll see, or anybody in the CHL as a test for that matter. We'll see how they do with that.
All right, next question. Hendricks that can play, what NHL rule needs to be changed?
Do you have one, Jimmy?
I have a lot.
Yeah? Okay, I have one. I want the trapezoid out. I want the goalies to play the puck and make mistakes.
Yeah.
I want the trapezoid out.
Yeah. And since it's become a theme today, I'm with all our listeners and viewers on the overtime. I think we need to go to 3-on-3.
I'm with you. I agree on that too. I just want the trapezoid out. I really do.
Oh, yeah.
I think it would lead to a lot more forechecking. I think there'd be a lot more opportunities and a lot more mistakes. I do.
All right. Next question. Gabe, could Buffalo make a trade for Panarin?
They could, I guess.
I mean, Yarmo knows him from Columbus. So.
Yeah, but he also left Columbus.
Yes, exactly.
So I don't know.
Yeah. And he'll dictate where he'll be where he
I think he wants to be in New York or Florida.
Yep. All right. Next question. David Robinson again. Can Victor Arvidsson be a B-grade Brad Marchand for the Bruins for the rest of the year? He's greasy and able to drive the play. Maybe not scoring as much, but he seems valuable.
I like that comparison.
Trust me. Yeah.
He must be 100% healthy this year because he didn't show the same vigor and vitality in Edmonton last year. And not even in LA when he was there. He looks more like what he looked like in Nashville. Mm-hmm. That's a great point by David. I like that. Yeah, that's a good comparison.
Yep. Okay, like it there. Well, that's it, Pierre, for our questions. Thanks to everybody for the wonderful questions, as always. Thanks for listening and watching, and thanks to Shane working the boards up in Montreal.
Congratulations to Sergei Fedorov.
Yes,
amazing career. 18 years in the National Hockey League, 3 years after his NHL career playing in Magnitogorsk over in Russia. He's more of a Red Army guy, obviously working there now. But what a career and what a spectacular athlete. He helped people come out of their seats in that Joe Louis Arena. Oh man, like I did a lot of games there.
Yeah.
And he was just, when he was in full flight, it was unbelievable. I'm telling you, Jimmy.
Yeah.
Like it was amazing.
Those Nike commercials
with the white skates. He could fly. He could absolutely fly. He had that one move as a lefty. He'd come down his right side and it looked like he'd be going wide. And then he'd cut through the D. And oh my gosh, he was just.
Speaking of number of retirements, another one later this week here in my neck of the woods, Pierre, in Boston, Zdeno Chara's number 33 will go to the rafters Thursday. I'm working on a guess for that, so I'll let you know tomorrow.
That'd be good. I hope you get the guess I think you're thinking of.
Well, we'll see. All right, everybody, listen, have a great night out there. Lots of hockey on a Monday night. Enjoy it. And by the way,
Patriots.
Yeah, no, we got Steelers. You got to do Steelers Texans, then we get to next week.
No, but your Patriots are moving on.
Yeah, they are, and we'll see who they play tonight with the Steelers and Texans. That should be a good game, but enjoy the hockey out there. We will talk to you tomorrow here on the Eye Test on the Sick Podcast Network.
And that's a wrap. Hope you don't miss us too much until next time. Follow the Eye Test with Pierre McGuire and Jimmy Murphy on YouTube, Facebook, Google Play, and Apple Podcasts.